I'm hidden here behind this pile. Let me see if we can move it. Very, very balanced. And in today's video we are gonna tackle this, my mending pile, also known as Mount Mend. Hi, my name is Matilda and welcome back to Miss Matti, the channel where I share all about sewing, knitting, mending and generally how to live an awesome and sustainable life. And if that sounds like something for you, do not forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you will not miss any upcoming videos from me. Is it just me who sits here with this mountain of clothes that need mending? Just tell me I'm not the only one. Leave a comment down below and let me know. And the past couple of years I have followed Monday Mending, and if you do not know what Monday Mending is, it's the challenge that was started by Evelyn Wood on Instagram a couple of years ago, where she challenges herself and us to mend one garment every Monday and just get it done. And that has been a great help to keep it in check. But the past couple months I haven't barely mended, and the influx of garments that needs mending has just grown. Is it just me, or is it sometimes like your wardrobe, all of a sudden everything breaks? So in this video I'm gonna go through and tackle this pile. I might not tackle all of the garments in this video, but I'm gonna tackle majority of them and really make sure to have as little mending left as possible. So I'm gonna take you through the whole process of that. So let's get started tackling Mount Mend. Small holes in t-shirts, I can barely think of a more annoying repair to discover, but luckily small holes like this are an easy fix. I thread my needle and tie a knot at the end, and then I pull my needle through a tiny bit of fabric at the end of the hole. And then I pull my thread through and pull my needle through a tiny bit of fabric at the opposite side of the hole. And then I gently pull the thread and the two sides together. Then go to the opposite side from your needle, pick up a few strands of threads in your fabric, and then gently pull again and repeat across the hole. Once you get to the end, tie a knot to fasten and pull the thread through the wrong side. At this top I had a longer tear along the seam. Here I created a ladder stitch by picking up a bit of fabric on one side at the tear and then pick up an equal amount on the other side, and then gently pull and continue along the tear. Sometimes on bigger holes and tears like this, I like to also pull my needle through to the wrong side and overcast stitch the torn edges for extra strength. And then I continue to repair the remaining tops and t-shirts with small holes until they all were mended. When I was going through my wardrobe, I discovered a worn out patch at the pocket of this paper bag waist skirt. Okay, that was a handful to say. I will don the worn out area to strengthen it. When I was looking further at the pocket, I discovered that the pocket facing had loosened and had to be reattached at the top. I used a ladder stitch to fasten the facing. And then I went on to donning the worn out area on the pocket. I just used a midnight blue sewing thread and made running stitches vertically and horizontally across the worn out area. Once I felt the area was strengthened enough, I decided that my repair was complete. However, I did not like the finished look at all. I'm considering doing some kind of visible mend on top of it that can also look like it's just a design feature at the edges of the pockets. So let me know in a comment down below if you have any suggestions on what I should do. As always in my mending pile, there are socks that need to be donned, and there was no exception in Mount Mend. These are my favorite Lululemon socks for winter. They really need to be replaced soon, but I'm trying to get a little bit more life out of them before I do. I'm donning these socks with the most common donning technique, where you create a woven effect by making running stitches over the whole or worn out area, both horizontally as well as vertically. If you want to learn how to don using this technique, I have a tutorial already, which I will link to in the description box down below. Then I will don these woolly socks using the Scotch donning technique. If you never Scotch donned, you really need to try this technique out. Scotch donning is a great technique to use on bigger holes, as it's quick, strong, and it's stretchy vertically but stiff horizontally. If you want to learn how to Scotch don, I also have a tutorial available, which I will link to in the description box down below. My husband got this pretty face mask for Christmas last year from some of our friends. After some use, the seam at the front got torn and will need to be mended. First, I overcast stitched the torn edges together. But that didn't look very pretty, so I used a mint green scrap piece of bias binding on top of it. With matching embroidery thread, I made running stitches around my bias binding patch. I think my patch suited the design really well, and as it's on the shin, you will barely even notice the repair. I was really distraught when I saw the green tarnish on the eyelets on this dress. If this has happened to you on eyelets, jean buttons, studs or other brass or copper details on your clothes, do not worry. I have an easy solution for you that is mild and gentle to your clothes, using things you most likely already have at home. I started by removing the lacing from the dress. And then, to remove tarnish, I will use vinegar mixed with baking soda. But you can also mix salt with lemon juice if you prefer. And then mixed vinegar and baking soda to create a paste. Then I apply the paste on the eyelets with an old toothbrush. You can also use a cloth to apply the paste if you prefer. Then I let it sit for 30 minutes. And then with a dry microfiber cloth, I wipe the paste off. Then I washed my dress, and once it was fully dried, I buffed the brass eyelets with a cloth before lacing the dress again. And now my eyelids are shiny again. I do not know how I manage, but I have a tendency to walk into doorknobs and have some of my favorite clothes getting caught. This t-shirt included, and here you can see the torn area. As the t-shirt is quite long on me, I decided to cut off the torn fabric at the hem and rehem the t-shirt. I have a full tutorial on how you can repair the hem on a t-shirt, and I will link to it in the description box down below. In that video, I'm giving tips and tricks on how you can successfully make a hem on a t-shirt using your domestic sewing machine without creating any puckering. The only difference from this t-shirt rehem and the one in the video is that here I am redoing the whole hem instead of parts of it. And here is how my new hem turned out. Unraveled seams is such a common repair, and I will now show you 3 different solutions that you can try out if you have discovered that this had happened to a garment in your wardrobe. First out is this bikini top where the stitching holding the closure together needs to be redone. This is such a simple repair, where I stitched the unraveling seam in place with my sewing machine using a straight stitch, making sure to backstitch on both ends. The next is an overlock seam that unraveled at a skirt that I have. As I have a serger, I just overlock that edge a bit, but if you do not own a serger, you can also finish this off with a zigzag stitch. I then used fray check, let it dry and cut off the excess overlocker threads. I discovered the seams at the inside of my waistband of my favorite high-waisted shorts from Lululemon had unraveled. As this stitching doesn't go through all the layers, I decided that hand stitching is the best option. I used the back stitch, making sure not to stitch through any additional layers, as well as making sure that the unraveled stitches were fastened and wouldn't unravel any further. Oh no! When I thought I'd start to make a dent in my mountain of mending, more mends joined. My husband tied his favorite grey shorts in the crotch, my me-made apron had stitching unraveling, and I tied the stitching under the arms on my twiggy t-shirt. We will start by fixing my husband's shorts. I pinned a piece of grey fabric on the inside of the crotch. Then I placed the shorts under my sewing machine. Using my free motion quilting or darning foot, I stitched back and forth over the tear both vertically and horizontally. If you want to find out more tips on how to repair jeans, as well as how to execute this technique, I have a video on 4 different ways on how to repair jeans. I will link to that video in the description box down below. And this is how the repair turned out. Then I just stitched over the unraveled stitches on my apron and made sure to secure the threads a bit extra this time. To repair the tad underarm stitching on my twiggy t-shirt, I used a stretch stitch on my sewing machine and just stitched the seam together. This is my crochet rag rug I made a couple of years ago using old t-shirts and scrap yarn. As you can see, the yarn has unraveled here, so I will use some yarn scraps to recreate the look of the crochet stitch. Using a crochet hook, I pulled the yarn from underneath so that a loop is created. Then I pulled one end of the yarn through the loop to create a crochet stitch. Then I pulled the yarn through the yarn at the row below as well as above to hold in place. And then I pull the yarn across the t-shirt yarn to create another crochet stitch. Then I fasten the yarn and my rug is repaired. If you want a full tutorial on how I made this rug, I will link to it in the description box down below. I discovered a snag on these ankle socks, and to prevent the snag from becoming bigger or stitches unraveling, I am doing a super simple mend. With a sewing needle, I pull the snag inside the eye and then pull the snag from the right side to the wrong side. I found that this was secure enough, but sometimes you might want to fasten the snag a bit more to prevent it from causing further damage. Time to repair some tights. 2 pairs of black opaque tights as well as these beige fishnets. Let's start with repairing these holes in one of the black tights. As you can see, there are quite a few and I will most likely need to replace them soon. But as always, I try to get as much use of my nylon tights as possible. First I pull my hand inside the foot of the tights. Then I threaded my needle and tied a knot at the end. To show you a bit better, I decided to repair the hole with red contrasting thread, but normally I use a matching black thread. I pull the thread through at the top of the hole until the knot, and then I catched a few strands of fiber at the left of the hole, and then I catched a few threads at the right side of the hole and pulled gently together. Then I repeated this across the whole hole. Then at the end I pull the thread through in between the last 2 stitches to the wrong side. Then on the wrong side, if the hole is bigger like this one, I like to overcast stitch over the raw edges for extra security, and then at the end I tied a knot to fasten. Then I repeated this on all other holes on my black tights. And at a small hole like this, I didn't do overcast stitches on the wrong side. Now it's time to repair the snag in these fishnets. Using a similar colored thread as possible, I pulled my thread through and tried to overcast stitch and fasten loose threads, recreating the fishnet look as well as preventing the fishnets from unraveling further. I do think if you do a mend like this, that the repair method will depend completely on what you need to mend to recreate the look of the tights to your best ability. Here is another garment that fell victim for a doorknob, my favorite Ralph Lauren shirt. My plan is to do a visible mend and cover up the tear with some embroidery design. I'm standing between a lighter blue colored embroidery floss and a darker blue that matches the branding on the cuff. First I overcast stitch the tear to make sure that my repair is as strong and sturdy as possible. Then I drew a flower design on wash away embroidery stabilizer, which I pinned on top of the tear. Then I considered if I was gonna do all of the embroidery in one color or if I shall have one color on the flowers and another color on the stem. It was a really hard choice. To decide on which color combination I should go for this visible mend, I turned to my Insta stories. And my options were option A, lighter blue color only. And option B, I would use a navy stem but with lighter blue flowers. And then I put this up, when did I put it up? 3 hours ago. And since then it's been like an ongoing battle or race, if you prefer to say that, between the two. So currently option A has 53% and option B has 47%, which is actually just a difference of 1 vote at the moment, I think. Yes, that's correct. You are not helping. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe I just need to trust my gut because I think both options are really good. Maybe I just need to go out for a walk, take a break, and see what feels right when I come back. After a walk, I had decided to go for lighter blue flowers and a navy colored stem. I stitched the flowers in place first by bringing the needle to the front at the bottom of the flowers. Then I brought the thread towards the back at the top of the left petal, and then I continued like this until all the petals were stitched. And then I repeated the same process on the other flowers as well. To create the stem, I used a chain stitch by pulling the needle from the back to the front, and then insert the needle where you started, and then bring it up again where the individual chain will stop. And then I wrap the thread around the back of the needle and pull the thread through. Then insert the needle again right next to where the thread is coming through at the front until the whole stem was covered with chain stitches. And then I washed my shirt to remove the stabilizer, and I hate it. The embroidery is way too tiny, and I think I need to make something much bolder to make it look good. But I do not really know what I will make yet. If you have any ideas, let me know in a comment down below. I really need some input here what I shall do. Do you also have over-knee socks or thigh-high stockings that slip down like this? It's highly irritating to have to pull up your socks all the time. To prevent this from happening, I found this elastic in my stash. Ideally, I would have preferred to use a wider elastic than this, but I used only what I already had to deal with this mountain of mending. I will attach it to the top of my socks using a similar technique to when I replaced the stretched out elastic in a pair of tights. I measured the circumference of the socks and then cut the correct length from my elastic. And then, by hand, I stitched the ends together to create a circle. But if you have a wider piece of elastic, you can zigzag the elastic together on your machine. Then I measured both the elastic and the circumference of the socks and divided both into 4 parts, which I marked with a pin. Then I pinned the elastic to the pins marked on the socks. Then, using a zigzag stitch which I set to 3mm wide and 1.5mm in length, I stitched the elastic to the top of the socks. Gently stretch out the socks and the elastic in between the pins to make sure that they are evenly attached. And now the elastic is attached. Let's try them on. Yay! They no longer slip down. Wow, that was a lot of clothes that I repaired. Did I repair all of them? No, but I think I did a pretty good job of reducing that massive mountain into a manageable mend pile. I really hope you enjoyed following my process of trying to repair all of my clothes. If you like this video, do not forget to hit the like button. Also, if you have any questions about any of the mends I made in this video, anything you want me to go through more in depth, just let me know in a comment down below. And also let me know, how big is your mend pile? Is it a mountain like mine used to be, or is it a manageable mend pile like I have now? Let me know, I would love to hear from you. And if you like this video, you most likely will like these videos over here as well. And until next time, bye!